There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Random DOS Game Show. And we got some nice music for ICOM Simulations Incorporated. What have you brought for us, ICOM? Do show us. Well, the spyglass has moved away. By Jove! Is that Holmes? It is! It's Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective Volume 1. And we've got some credits here, which is nice. 1992. So we've got a table of contents here, shaped like a book. And we've got 3 different cases for good old Holmes to investigate.
If you need help, all you have to do is ask. And this, dear player, is the place to do exactly that.
I see. Let's select this.
Choose this horse and carriage after you have chosen your destination from either your notebook or the directory. It will take you where you want to go.
Thank you, Holmes. That's very helpful.
When you believe you have directed Holmes to all of the right and proper places, and you have enough information to name the murderer and the motive, choose this icon.
Okay. What about yourself, Holmes?
The Baker Street Irregulars are an untidy bunch of young street boys who happen to be on the proper side of the law. They have an undeniable knack for bringing back priceless bits of information in a fraction of the time it would take Holmes or myself. When you want to summons them, first choose the destination from your notebook or the directory, then choose the Irregulars. In no time at all, they will return with whatever details they were able to unearth.
And you can, mutilate their face with your eyeglass into some sort of freakish horror. Look at that. I thought that was Holmes because he had a hat, but it's the wrong type of hat. Look, my deduction skills have determined that this is not a Sherlock Holmes hat. You are, sir, one of the Baker Street Irregulars.
Choosing this icon puts a notebook at your fingertips. I believe you'll find that your notebook is your greatest detective tool. Use it to keep track of names and places that you believe you might want to investigate. When you do decide upon a person to question or a place to research, first go to your notebook, choose the appropriate name, then choose the horse and carriage. You will be off and running. Because the Baker Street Regulars are often critical to solving a case, I've included them in your notebook. Use them wisely.
Ah.
This gives you access to the London directory. In it, you will find everyone you need to query in your attempt to solve these cases. The directory is also the source for your notebook. Simply choose a name or place in the directory and drag it over into your notebook for easy reference. You may also use the directory much like your notebook. First, choose your intended destination, then choose... Mr. Holmes' files provide a wealth...
What it found in the tent.
Okay, let's just go to the Mummy's Curse. I just want to point out, this is like 91, 92, and it's a CD version. So either this had a enhanced CD-ROM edition of it, which was sort of a thing that happened a bit later. You're talking 92 to 94, enhanced CD-ROM versions were released a lot. Or, man, this is just me, thinking out loud, which is never a good thing for Lawnie to do. It might be one of the early CD games where they actually took advantage of the burgeoning multimedia PC market. Let's try the Mummy's Curse.
What rubbish! What
wow! FMV!
There's something terribly disturbing, Watson, for you to be so overwrought this early in the morning.
Indeed, Holmes.
Yes, Watson.
It's irresponsible of the Times to play upon people's superstitions.
Ah, you must be referring to the affair of the Mummy's Curse.
Has the entire city in an uproar. 3 men dead, and they expect us to believe that a 4,000-year-old mummy was the murderer. I'm surprised you haven't taken some interest in this case, Holmes.
To the contrary, my dear Watson. I have made some inquiries, because I dare say I do believe this murderer is a much younger chap.
Ho, 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 Sherlock. So, you can actually rewind. And you can pause at specific
My
parts
dear Watson.
of the video. So, and then you can zoom into his face. Look at that. Beautiful. He looks like something from a horror movie. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got a map of jolly old London, and our icon is a pipe. Isn't that nice? Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be any background music. So, I would have expected that from a multimedia experience. Just, to even have a MIDI score or some little sort of music in the background. Maybe that'll turn up later. So, we have to determine who the actual killer is, instead of some ridiculous story about a mummy. So, let's go here. That is the menu. That's not going to help us.
What rubbish!
Okay. Let's go to our notebook, and we've got a list of potential people. Let's talk to Langdale Pike. So we have the option to travel. I believe that changed there. Well, if we close that, yeah. So say if we hit H.R. Murray, we can send some of the newspaper boys out. What does the file do? Oh, that tells us information about who that person is. Okay. Let's talk to Disraeli O'Brien. Let's go visit Disraeli O'Brien.
Well, Holmes, it appears we're out of luck. The clerk told me that O'Brien is off on holiday.
Drat! This is all your fault, Watson. We'll have to go and visit H.R. Murray instead.
Pettigrew wrote this book over 50 years ago, and there's still nothing better on the subject.
Okay.
Fascinating. Just fascinating. And what can I do for you today, Whitson?
It's Watson, sir.
Watson, yes, of course.
We're interested in what you may have learned about this mummy case.
Look, he's
so
smoking
these
a pipe.
days it's mummies you're
So's he.
chasing down with that fella Helms.
Mm-hmm.
It's Holmes, sir.
This is what I said now, isn't it, Whitson?
Yes, I believe you did, sir.
Let me show you what I found so far. This is the bit of linen that was found round the neck of James Windibank. I examined it thoroughly, and it is quite old, perhaps thousands of years. However, it is not the murder weapon.
Are you certain of that?
Aye. The linen is quite old, but it's not at all strong enough to strangle a grown man.
Very interesting, sir.
I also found something quite fascinating. Take a look through this glass. Do you see those short hairs on the fabric?
They look precisely like hairs.
By Jove, Watson, it's a
Of course
pipe.
They look like hairs. But what kind of hairs? They're not human hairs. They're dog hairs. Now, look at this. This piece of linen was found round the neck of the victim on board the ship. Well, his name was Leatherby or something. It is also quite old, and on it I found more hairs.
More dog hairs?
No, my dear man, monkey hairs.
Monkeys?
Not yet been able to identify the precise species, but it's just extraordinary, isn't it?
Quite. But what do you think it all means?
Well, I'm not the sort who likes to jump to conclusions, Whitson, but I can assure you that neither of these bandages were the murder weapons.
Well, there we go. We have determined that the bandages found in the case are not the murder weapons. Excellent. So, thank you, Mr. Murray. And also that there's monkeys involved. And that might be a red herring, but being a red herring is probably quite difficult for a monkey, to be honest. You know what the tastiest monkeys are? The Reese's species. Anyway, let's try Quentin Hogg. What happens... Let's see who Quentin Hogg is. Worked for Scotland Yard, now reports on crime. So, what happens if we select Quentin Hogg and send out these boys? Looks like the Turks were after Fami's stolen goods. Okay, so we've got a motive, but we don't have the murder weapon. Because the bandages that were left behind by the supposed rampaging mummy are not... they're no good. So, what I surmise, Watson, is that a pack of monkeys trained a pack of wild dogs and a mummy into attacking the poor victim. They rode the dogs in, and they had the mummy strangle the victim with the bandages, and then they ate the victim. I mean, case closed. Disraeli O'Brien, let's... Oh, was he the one who was out? Yes, idiot. The one guy I pick is the guy who's out. Let's see. Interesting. Henry Ellis.
It's quite amusing, all this hoopla over a mummy's curse, I must say. Not so amusing, of course, the murder of 3 Englishmen.
Have any of your reporters uncovered anything new?
Actually, I've been in Paris the past several weeks. Just returned to London on Tuesday. I've had no involvement with the writing of any of these articles.
Suspicious.
I believe they are all the work of Philip Travis. He's one of our young reporters. For a short time, he was the Egyptian correspondent.
Was he sacked?
No. He returned to London just a few days ago. I gather he was reassigned to cover the case from here because he had some familiarity with the murder in Egypt.
Do you know Travis?
No, never actually met the chap, although I hear he's a bit of an odd duck.
Thanks for your help, Henry.
Anytime.
Okay, let's see if we can speak to this Travis. No, we can't. That's unfortunate. I was hoping Philip Travis would appear in our list of contacts, but apparently he has not. Let's all go to the library. Let's all go to the
Here it is,
library.
Holmes. Egyptian mummies are embalmed bodies preserved to facilitate their resurrection. Many mummies have been found, and they are almost always the bodies of pharaohs. The pharaohs believed that one day their bodies would be brought back.
Okay, we went to the library to determine what a mummy was, which is always a good idea, but I thought even by the standards of the time that would be self-evident, especially to an educated man like Holmes. But yeah, that appears to be the game. We'll just we'll briefly look at this. Appears to be some sort of Rolodex of sorts, and there's a lot of names and a lot of things that we can do and interact with in order to determine like what's going on. I don't know if there's a time limit though. I think you just have to click on all the various things in order to figure out like what's been going on. Then again, the times, maybe that's been moving on. The times, they are changing. Right, okay. You can click on that and hope to find some information. But yeah, it's an interesting little title, and it looks fairly well put together. I'm going to leave it there for now, but you've seen sort of the basics of what the game constitutes. And if you enjoy Sherlock Holmes and sleuthing around through piles of information and enjoy those sort of delightfully early 90s multimedia cutscenes, then hey, this might be right up your Baker Street. And if you like me talking about DOS games, I do it a lot. Feel free to check out all the other videos on my channel, and if you like what you see, you can always subscribe. But anyway, Watson, we shall leave this case for now, and head on to the mystified murderess. But Holmes, we haven't sorted it. We're carrying on regardless. Until next time.